So what's good, homies? It's your man, King Ray Ray. We up in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate y'all being in the building, man. Let's get ready to do it. Sunday sermon. Sunday sermon. We are in the building for the Sunday sermon. Markel, what's good, young homie? Keep it retro. What's good, JK, all day? I see you, man. The Money Boys in the building. Dr. Nova J. Bay in the building. I see you, man. Adrian Rodriguez. What's good, man? I see you in the building. Saw Xavier Bright in here a little bit earlier, man. Let's see who else we got up in the joint. Saw Flex's A&M up in here. El Bach Kid, I saw you in here, man. Let's get ready to do it. Get the people a couple more minutes to get in here, man, so we can get ready to do it. It's about that time, man. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. So today we got a good topic, man. We got a phenomenal topic for today. And the heading, as you can see on today's topic, is you deserve better than their disrespect. You deserve better than their disrespect. But the title proper is when God instructs you to leave them alone, you'd better obey or suffer dire consequences. So let me tell you something, man. God is the most terrific guide, the most terrific counselor, the most terrific instructor, the most terrific leader you'll ever see. But he's also a staunch disciplinarian. So if he tells you to move away from someone and you don't, then don't come crying to him after the fact when the consequences of you not moving away start to rear their ugly heads in your life, no matter what those consequences are. Because here's the thing. If I tell you don't do something and you do it, don't come crying to me when what I told you is going to happen happens. I tried to warn you. You don't get the warning, so you don't get the offer of protection and then get shielded from your consequences. No. So you must take heed and pay attention when God is moving people out of your life. Now, if you want to be a member of this live chat, go to the main channel page, King Ray Ray Show, or YouTube/Ray Ray the King. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see a join button. Click the join button, go into the kiosk, become a member, come back out, pass back by the subscribe button. If you didn't click it too. Click your notification bell so you can know and be alerted when the King Ray Ray Show is happening. Now, let's get into this thing. What led to this discussion? I was speaking with someone, and they were having a hard time moving away from people who don't show them anything. Don't show them any type of concern, type of consideration, type of respect. And they told me all of those things. And I said, well, why can't you walk away? And they didn't know why. I said, it's because you're afraid of something better in your life, because you've become so comfortable with the bad things and the bad situation and the negative people in your life that you could not imagine your life with positive people and positive circumstances and beneficial things happening in your life. So you just settle for what you have, because most of us think that knowing what we know, accepting the known, is much less frightening than facing the unknown. But then I called into question, what is your faith? Why do you think you deserve their disrespect? Why do you think you deserve their inconsideration? Why do you think for people that you give nothing but positive energy, nothing but constructive criticism, if any criticism, nothing but sound advice, nothing but a helping hand, nothing but a listening ear? And they turn around and act like you haven't done any of those things. They treat an enemy better than they treat you. It's because you don't believe you deserve better than their disrespect. You think what you've done in the past makes you worthy of their disrespect. Well, let me tell you something right now. If God has forgiven you, you must not allow people to hold you to your past. If God has forgiven you, why would you then look at lowly man and say, the Most High has forgiven me, but you man, you woman, you can do whatever you want to do to me because I deserve it? No, once God has cleared my slate, it is cleared for you too. You better wrap your mind around that concept. Once I'm good with God, I better be good with you, or I'm going to be rid of you. See, let me tell you something. It's up to you to believe how much you're worth. It's not up to them. No one has to accept your value. No one has to appreciate your value. If they don't, you need to make a move, but it's not up to them. And here's the problem. If someone doesn't appreciate your value, then you know what to do. You don't continue to give them that value, hoping that maybe one day they'll appreciate it. You don't give someone time to start to appreciate you. The last show we did was called They Don't Love Themselves, so they can't love no one else. Well, guess what? They don't appreciate themselves, so they can't appreciate no one else. They don't have faith in themselves, so they can't have faith in no one else. They don't protect themselves, so they can't protect no one else. If they don't provide for themselves, then they can't provide for no one else. All of these things have to start with a person. And let me tell you something. You may say, well, God said be. God ain't never told you that. Let me tell you something. You deserve what you demand, but you also deserve what you accept. See, if I demand respect from someone, I deserve that. But if I accept disrespect from someone, I deserve that. I don't deserve the respect I did not demand. I don't deserve the consideration I did not demand. Whatever you don't demand, you don't deserve. God gives you wisdom, understanding, and knowledge to use as barriers against those types of things to help you protect yourself. See, God ain't gonna run in front of everybody. Hey, move now, move, get out the way, move, get out the way now, move, get over there, move. No, He gonna give you what you need to do to stay out of the midst of things. Why God got to protect you from those wicked men that you didn't have no business hanging out with anyway? Because God told you don't keep the company of wicked men. Why God got to protect you in those environments that you weren't supposed to go in anyway? Because God already told you don't go in those environments. Most of the time you in situations you don't want to be in because you're okay with letting somebody use you. You let somebody use you for a ride. Man, let me tell you something. Hey, man, won't you take more? Man, listen, if you need me to take you somewhere that I don't go, man, you lost. You lost. It don't matter where. If you need me to take you somewhere I don't go, you lost. It ain't gonna happen. There's no amount of money you can give me to take you somewhere that I don't go. Man, drop me off at the club. Man, you lost it. If you ain't got no car, you don't need to go to the club. And you ain't going in mine. Man, drop me off at the chick house, man. Her husband going to work. Her boyfriend going to work. Nuh-uh. If you need to go there, boy, you need to go here. You and her both fool. She a fool for dealing with a man who ain't got no job, and who obviously ain't got no job, ain't got no car, and I'd be a fool to take you over there. And you a fool for going. Being a fool is no substitute for being nice. You don't get to say, I'm just nice if you're being a fool. No, you have crossed the nice line. You're not nice anymore. You're gullible. You're susceptible to being taken advantage of by anyone you meet. So don't come telling me they took advantage of you because you were nice. No, nice is one thing. When you're nice and they don't appreciate it, you stop being nice to those people. You don't stop being nice to everybody, but here's what happens. You put yourself in a situation where you're dealing with someone and they're taking your kindness for weakness, and they do it so much because you refuse to leave. You refuse to listen to God telling you to move on. So you stay in that situation, and then everyone else you ever deal with has to deal with a person who doesn't even know how to be nice and considerate anymore because they've allowed one person to use them up so bad that all the chances are wasted on one person. Now, you got to be aware of this. You got to make sure you're not this kind of person. You got to make sure you're not dealing with this kind of person. So if your spouse or your fiance or whoever, your girlfriend, whoever you're dealing with is like this, then you must understand that that's a person that will never be able to open up to you in that way. We have to protect ourselves from being so used that we can't even take the chance that somebody might use us again, which means you can't open up to people. You live a bad life. You live a drab life when you keep yourself closed off to everyone. That means even if God puts the one in your life you're supposed to have in your life, you can't even open up. You're closed off because you've allowed yourself to stay in the company of people that God told you, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Go your way. Sometimes you know the word of God and you just ignore it. Don't even look at what God done told you to do and just keep standing there. Why? Oh, because I'm in love. It feels so good. I love you, baby. No, I don't want to hear that stuff. Before you're fair, considerate, and loving to someone else, you got to be fair, considerate, and loving to yourself first. I say again, being fair, considerate, and loving comes with yourself. Respecting comes with yourself first. If you don't respect yourself, don't worry about respecting nobody else. Before you give anybody anything, you better have given it to yourself for years on end. Because until you love yourself, you ain't got no love to give nobody else. Until you respect yourself, you ain't got no respect to give nobody else. Until you consider yourself, you don't have any consideration for nobody else. Until you're fair to yourself, you don't have no fairness to give nobody else. Until you love yourself, you don't have no loving to give nobody else. And anytime you put yourself in a situation where you're trying to give somebody something that you don't even have to give yourself, it is automatically a dead end situation. Automatically a dead end situation. There's no recovery from it. There's no fixing it. There's no making up for lost time. There's none of that. You have put yourself in a bad situation and you just simply will not recover from it. And as men, we must understand that that is not what we're supposed to be doing. It's better to hate everyone than to hold yourself in low regard. If the only way for you to love yourself is to hate everybody else, you better get to hating then. Self-love is the most important thing. So at some points in life, you got to give all your love to yourself. You got to separate yourself from everybody who would possibly need love from you and give all your love to yourself in order to rebuild yourself into the self-loving, self-caring, self-prioritizing version of yourself that you need to be. It is your job to be that. No one owes you that. No one owes you anything. God don't even owe you to bless you. We'll talk about that later on this week. God don't owe you no blessings. Nobody owes you anything. You want your blessing from God, you better act the way he tell you to act. You better behave the way he tell you to behave. You better follow the statutes, commandments like he tells you to do, because ain't no blessings coming to you otherwise. I want y'all to think about that. It's better to hate everyone in the world than to hold yourself in low regard, than to have low self-worth, low self-value, than to look at yourself like you don't deserve better, to look at yourself like you deserve the worst, to look at yourself like you ain't worth nothing and you worthless and you have no value to no one or anything in the world. You're just taking up space and taking up oxygen that can be used by somebody who has more value. How dare you feel that way about yourself, then be out here trying to love other people? If you feel like that about yourself, you better take some time to yourself. I say, if you feel like that about yourself, you better take some time to yourself. That's what you better do. Because here's the thing. No one will ever stop disrespecting you if you accept their disrespect the first time. Not the second time, third time, fourth time, the first time. Because let me tell you something. Don't you ever let nobody tell you that they didn't know they were disrespecting you, that they didn't know you would take it that way, that they didn't know that would be so offensive to you, that they were never taught that those words, that energy, that intensity, that those actions were disrespectful, because they lied to you. They know it. Believe me when I tell you, they know when they're being disrespectful. Everyone does. Y'all give me a minute, man. I'm kind of dark on the screen. I don't really like that. Matter of fact, I'm very dark on the screen. Let me fix my screen right quick, man. I'm too dark on the screen. Give me a minute. Give me a quick minute, fellas. Give me a quick minute. Let me fix the screen right quick. We'll live it on the dark side. Oh, yeah. On the dark side. Oh, That's an old classic rock song, man. Y'all look it up on the dark side. All right, man, let's get back into it. I think we good now. We might be too bright now, but we're going to have to deal with the bright lights. I think we good right there. I think we good right there. I still see a little something going on my shades, though. But we'll do it, though. We'll do it, though. All right, so what I want y'all to understand is this, man. Let me get this super chat right quick, man, before we take a dive back into this thing, man. Doug Holloman, salute, salute. Appreciate the dime. Formerly Shinobi Style. Shinobi, what's good with you, man? It's been a minute. Peace, King. It's been a while since I could contribute. Had to get this divorce off my back. Had to contribute to this one. Salute to you, brother. Salute to you. Glad you got that monkey, man, off your back, man. That divorce is a serious thing, man. You know, we'll dive into that, man, on the BOA channel this week too, man. We're gonna dive into some factual information here, man. See my boy Spiritual Alpha in the building too, man. So let's get ready to do this, man. All right, so when I tell you that no one will ever stop disrespecting you if you accept it the first time, it's because most people will use you if given the opportunity. And they will not be apologetic about it because everyone expects you to be able to determine when they are trying to take advantage of you. Very few people in the world just won't take advantage of someone even if they can. I'm one of those people. And this isn't to toot my own horn, but I won't take advantage of someone just because they don't know any better. Like, I won't take advantage of you. Like, if you are about to do something that I know is disadvantageous to you, but it benefits me, I'm not going to allow you to do that. I'm not going to. So even if I signed an artist, I would not sign an artist to a bad deal. Now, am I going to make my money? Yes, but I'm going to make sure that the artist is taken care of as well. I'm not going to get everything I can and leave the artist getting peanuts and, pennies to the dollar. I'm not going to do that, man, because for me, it's not worth it. That's not the life I live. I don't have to be that unscrupulous in order to get ahead, in order to stay ahead, in order to come up, in order to be blessed. I don't have to do that. I serve a God that will bless me for my righteousness, that will bless me for not taking advantage of people. But the majority of people around you, they are waiting for the opportunity to see an opening to take advantage of you, waiting for the chance to get over on you. And let me tell you something, man, you could do everything in the world for certain people and they will act like you did nothing because in their mind, they know they don't deserve it. And when you give somebody something they don't deserve, they automatically view you as a fool. They don't view you as a nice guy. They view you as a fool. No one says, you gave me more than I deserve. You're such a nice guy. No. They view you as, well, let me see what I could get from this person next time. Let me see how much they're willing to give. Let me push the envelope. Let me see how far I can press before they push back. And let me tell you something. It's because they don't see your value. But here's the thing you got to understand. If they don't see your value, it's not your job to convince them of your value. Maybe they're blind. See, low value people, low vibration people, they don't understand high vibration. They don't trust high vibration because all they can be is low vibrational. Listen, if you meet someone who has never had any good fortune in life, they are low vibrational. They have never cracked through the low vibration ceiling to get to the point in life where they start living a life that's pleasing to God, where they start even focusing on the direction of a life that's pleasing to God. They have already set their feet, set their foundation into a way of life that is not pleasing to God. And when you attach yourself to that type of person, God will not be with you. Because he doesn't go where the energy is foul. He doesn't go where there is abomination. He won't go there. So you show me someone that's filling their body with pork every morning and eating seafood all the time and eating all these abominable creatures. God is not coming near that person. That person does not have the protection of God. You are willingly doing things that thwart that protection. if you are living a wild, fast life in the streets and you are being with this one and that one and doing all of those things, whether you're a man or a woman, a male or a female, let me tell you something. God is not with you because he does not bring himself and bring his spirit and bring his power into the midst of no foolishness, into the midst of no abomination, into the midst of nothing foul. That's what you must understand. So you have to avoid those people. When God say, not that one, you better say, hey, you, not you, I got to go. You got to be ready to go when God says time to go, man. You got to be ready to move when God says time to move. Because let me tell you something, boy. Let me tell you something. Sometime God will, you found so much grace in God's sight. He's so merciful to you that he'll give you something better to lure you away from what you've been dealing with. And you still won't leave it alone. You still won't go the way you're supposed to go. You still won't take heed to the word of God. And what did I say in the beginning of this thing? When God instructs you to leave them alone, you better obey or suffer the consequences. I'm talking about some dire consequences. Sometime it'll cost you your freedom. Sometime it'll cost you your life. Sometime it'll cost you everything but your life and your freedom. Man, you better learn that God is trying to protect you from yourself, not from him. He ain't got to protect you from them. He ain't trying to protect you from them. He's trying to remind you, you got the wisdom, understanding, knowledge to protect yourself. You know how to move on. You know how to move back. You know that ain't right for you. You know that's foul over there. Well, look, I'm going to give you this over here. Look at this good thing I got for you over here. But you still going to go mess with that thing over there? You still going to go be in that environment over there when I gave you access to this environment? You still going to engage in those activities over there when I gave you access to these righteous activities over here? You still going to deal with those unscrupulous, wicked men when I have given you access to righteous men of God over here? But don't you dare come to me in the end, tell me, oh, God, help me, Lord. If you help me, Lord, I'll help you what? Help you what? Let me tell you something. Not everyone deserves your presence. That's what I want you to understand. Yes, it's a thin line because when you know that God has used you as a vessel and he's putting you in people's lives to benefit them, it's hard for you to pull yourself out of people's lives when you know you're a benefit. But here's the problem with that. Appreciation is your determining factor. That is the barometer by which you gauge if you need to continue to be in their lives. If they don't appreciate what you do, appreciate what you say, appreciate how God uses you to benefit them, then you must vacate the premises. And be okay with that because not everyone deserves your presence. Some of the people you're around, you don't even have no business being around. I don't care if they family, I don't care if they friends, I don't care who they are. You know you shouldn't be around them. You know you shouldn't. Now, sometimes you just live at home and you're there by force, but that should make you even more adamant to get out of there. And when you get out of there, boy, you got to, man, listen, you got to understand, if people live foul, that's their business. You can say, well, they don't know no better. Put a one in the chat if you think people don't know no better. I want you to put a one in the chat right now if you think the people around you don't know no better. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Now, I ain't talking about everybody in the world. I'm talking about the people around you. Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat right now if you think the people around you don't know no better. I'm going to bust that bubble right now because we ain't going to be around here telling ourselves, okay, let's just keep hanging around them because they don't know no better. I want you to stick that one in the chat. Don't be ashamed. Don't be shy. Don't dare tell no lie. Keep it a buck with us in here. Kombucha, man, kombucha. I'm telling you, those people know. They know. You know why they know? Because anyone you're around, they have at least asked you why you live that way. They have at least asked you why you don't eat that. They have at least asked you why you don't do that. They have at least asked you why you don't go there. So how come you know better, but they don't? Ask yourself why you know better. Because if you're anything like me, everybody you're around, especially when you first came into the truth, man, you were telling everybody. You were telling everybody, man. You were telling everybody. But here's the thing. Everybody, even if you have only been told so because you heard the Nation of Islam say it or some other religious group, it don't matter. You have heard that you shouldn't eat pork. And you have heard that you shouldn't eat seafood. You have at least heard that from somebody. You've heard that. We all know about speaking foul because we discipline our children for doing it. We get offended when somebody does it to us. So people know. It's 210 of us in here right now. We don't know. How we know? So we the only ones around us know? We the only ones in all our circle that know anything. We ain't never opened our mouth and told nobody nothing. Nobody ain't never heard it from nowhere else but us. It's impossible. Because I can walk right now to a restaurant that don't put no pork in anything because they know. I can walk to another restaurant that has versions of their meals that don't have pork in it, that don't have dairy in it, that don't have meat in it, that don't have this in it. The FDA makes these people label their products, so you'll know if it's some shellfish in it. You'll know if it's some pork in it. You'll know, like they have to label their products. Why? Because everyone knows the things you shouldn't eat. By the time you're an adult, you know right from wrong. And let me tell you something worse than that. Even if you've never seen it nowhere else, somebody in your family done got old and sick because they were eating bad. And when they put them on that diet, what they tell them? Get off that red meat. Get you some exercise. Drink you some water. Don't drink no alcohol. Everything you're doing that defiles your body. When you get sick, the doctor tell you stop doing it. Why he tell you stop doing it? Because that's what got you where you are. So we've all, at least, especially those of us who are African American, we've seen someone get parts of their leg removed because of their illness, namely diabetes type 2. So at some point, we've all learned these things. At some point, we've all learned these things. We know that we should not be telling lies on people. We know we shouldn't. We know we shouldn't. We know we shouldn't be spreading untruths about people. We know we shouldn't. We know we shouldn't be taking things from people that don't belong to us. We know we shouldn't be stealing things. We know we shouldn't be taking advantage of people. We know we shouldn't. And you got to understand that people who do things that they know they shouldn't do, they should not be in your presence. Am I saying we're perfect? No, we're not perfect. But I'm talking about, man, come on, man. You can't just be living a life all willy-nilly and do whatever you want to do. And like I said earlier, if God has forgiven you, you must not allow people to hold you to your past. And if they can't forgive you, you must forget them. You know, we talk about forgive and forget. Well, let me show you how forgive and forget works. If they can't forgive you, then you must forget them. I say again, if they can't forgive you, then you must forget them. One more time for the people in the back. If they can't forgive you, you must forget them. That's the only way to do it. Because being underappreciated, man, I'm going to be honest with you, being underappreciated, man, is a heavy burden. You know, I think it's the greatest form of disrespect for somebody just not to appreciate what you do, you know, not to appreciate who you are. Even not to appreciate the improvements you made to yourself, man. Like, for anyone who doesn't appreciate it, man, that's a heavy burden, man. It's a heavy burden to look out for people and give people whatever it is, financial assistance, guidance, leadership, you know, just give them patience in the time when they need it, man. Share all of the gifts that God gave you with someone else, man, and then have them not be appreciative, man. Have them, you know, just have them like interacting with you like you're just the average person, man. Like you weren't the person that they can rely on for these things, man. Like, that's a heavy burden. It's a heavy burden because When you get to the point where you're like, okay, if I pull myself out of their lives, they're really going to be in bad shape. They're really going to be in bad shape. But you got to stop caring about that. See, it ain't for me to care if they're in bad shape. It's for them to care if they're in bad shape. Now, I'm here. God put me here on this earth to do a certain thing. But for you to be able to access that, you got to care about yourself. You got to care about yourself in a way where you got to understand, man, okay, this is a person that I need to appreciate. It don't matter who it is, man. It can be your wife, it can be your kids, it can be your family, man. It can be whoever it is, man. It can be your students. It don't matter who it is. It could be whoever it is, man. Like being underappreciated is the heaviest burden that a godly man has to carry. It's one of the heaviest burdens we have to carry, man, because you can't just immediately cut people off when they're in need, because we also understand through wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, we understand that being in dire need or being in dire situations, it makes people think illogically. It makes people be illogical. It makes people more emotional. It makes people fear more. It makes people be angry more. That's even us. You put us in the right situation, we'll be angry and fearful too. That's just the way it is. We're blessed to not be in those situations, but we all have that limit where if we're in a certain situation, we're going to be angry or fearful or both. And that's just the reality of it. And so for some people, that's just their mindset. But those are the people we have to go in the trenches and help. You can't help people that don't need to be helped. The poor and needy are the ones who need help. But at the same time, they have to appreciate your effort. They have to appreciate what you're doing, because at the very moment you let someone not appreciate what you're doing and you continue to do it, you're inviting them to disrespect you. You're inviting them to interact with you as if you don't have value in their lives. And here's the thing, I know my value. And so at the very moment I realize you don't know my value, there's no need for me to keep putting my value in your life, because you don't know it, you don't like it, you don't respect it, you don't acknowledge it. And so for me, I just have to make sure that I protect me from those types of circumstances. The same way you have to do. You have to make sure you protect yourself from those circumstances. And God is great at giving you insight to know when somebody is not the type of person you think they are. So nobody can say, if you're a godly man or a godly woman, you cannot say that you did not know that a person was who they are. You can't say that like you've seen it. You've seen it at least once. The problem is you think you need to see it twice. You think you need to see it 3 times. You think you need to see it a myriad of times in a myriad of situations, but you don't. You only have to see it once. To know that somebody doesn't appreciate you, to know that someone doesn't have any love for you, to know that someone doesn't even have any understanding of what it means to appreciate someone, to know that no one has any understanding of what it means to respect someone. Because let me tell you one of the greatest things that you're overlooking in your life. Someone who looks at their own life and says to themselves, I am a failure. I have failed at life. I've never done anything meaningful. I've never done anything valuable. That person doesn't even understand what value is. That person doesn't even understand what respect is. That person doesn't even understand what love is. That person doesn't even understand what it means to be considerate. Because when you are down on yourself, you are absolutely down on everything else. That is why you have to align yourself with the Most High. That means no matter what you go through in life, if you align with the Most High, you still know spiritually you have high value. See, I don't care about my value to the world. I care about my value to God. And no matter what I go through, people can look and say, man, he fell off, man. He ain't got this, man. He ain't got that. I don't care. You don't know what God is doing in my life. And so I know long as I'm one with God, as long as I'm tight with God, as long as I have the respect from God as a man of God, then I'm okay with any other thing that happens. But many people, if you don't know God, you can't have that outlook. If you don't know God, there is no strength in having less. As a man of God, there is strength in having less sometimes. There is strength in having less. You know what having less means? There are more distractions from your mission that you need to be performing in this world on behalf of the Most High. And that is the most important thing. And I'll tell you something else, man. Everyone you benefit owes you, at the very least, appreciation, and at the very most, a debt of gratitude. Don't you think people don't owe you appreciation? Once you do something for someone, they owe you appreciation. Here's what they don't owe. They don't owe you to figure out appreciating you. They don't owe you to figure out your value. They don't owe you to figure out over time. You keep letting them get away with it and get away with it. They don't owe you to repay you with positive when you let them keep giving you negative. You owe you that. You owe you to cut off the negative so you won't keep getting it. See, you don't wait for somebody who gives you negative energy to give you positive energy. You cut them off, and then you deal with someone who's going to give you positive energy from the beginning. Let me tell you something. You can't cultivate positive energy in people. They have to come with their own positive energy. All you can do is give positive energy. If they return negative energy to you, there's nothing you can do about that. That's their energy. And I'm not going to use my positive energy to turn your negative energy into positive or even try it. I'm going to deal with someone who has positive energy so there can be a positive energy exchange. So there's a positive energy ebb and flow between us. Because if I'm giving you positive energy, all you give me back is negative energy, doesn't that sound like in a minute you're going to have all my positive energy and I'm going to have all your negative energy? Let me tell you something. If I got $10, a $10 bill, and you got $10 in pennies, if we exchange energy, it's still going to be $10 when you give it to me. But what am I going to do with $10 in pennies, man? I'm not talking about rolled up pennies. I'm talking about a big jar of pennies. You see what I'm saying? And that's not even a bad example. If I got $10 and I go to the pump and I need $10 worth of gas, and I put the nozzle in my tank and I press the nozzle, nothing comes out, but the number is running up. I get in my car, my gas needle hadn't moved, but I'm out of $10. Now the pump say $10. How am I going to prove that didn't go in my car? How am I going to prove it didn't go in my car? So if I give you all my positive energy and you give me negative back, how am I going to prove I ever had positive energy at all? I would be a fool to take my positive energy and give it to someone who gives me negative energy in return because I don't think they owe me appreciation. Man, let me tell you something, brothers, and this is real. You should only give a person that first time to not appreciate you. Because people who don't appreciate you don't deserve you. People who have a sense of entitlement to you or whatever benefit you could possibly bring to their lives, they don't deserve you. Yes, now we have our responsibilities. If you have kids, yes, you have your responsibility. That's your responsibility until they become adults. That's your responsibility. You do that. But you have the right to not even take care of an adult offspring. I want to say an adult kid. You don't have an adult child. You have an adult offspring at that point. You have a son or a daughter. You don't owe anyone. You got to stop thinking that you owe everyone. You owe God to do what God put you here to do. If God put on your spirit to do this for this person, do it. If God put on your spirit to do that for that person, do it. If God put on your spirit not to do it for that person, don't do it. It's not about giving everything to everybody or being everything to everybody. No. There's a song Shaka Khan made and Whitney Houston remade it. I'm every woman. So when you think about that, why would you as a woman try to be every woman? Why would you as a man try to be every man? I can't be every man. All I can be is King Ray Ray. Whatever King Ray Ray brings to a situation, that's it. That's all you get. If that's not enough and you don't appreciate it, then I'll take my little bit with me when I leave. That's what I'll do. You must listen to God telling you to leave them alone. You understand? Do not go against God telling you when to leave someone alone. Don't do it. I don't care what the circumstances is or are. I don't care what the circumstances are. You don't compound one sin with another sin. You don't compound one bad decision with another bad decision. You don't compound one mistake with another mistake. No, you don't try to fix a mistake by adding more to the plate. You don't try to, listen, if you burn up, if you got a skillet of food on the stove and you burn it up, you don't fix that by adding more food to the burning food in the skillet, right? No, you got to dump it all out and start over. There's no way you can fix it like that. If somebody gets in, let's say we're out, we put a motor in my car. I mean, we got the cherry picker and everything. We put a motor in my car. Okay, we get out of there. You go get in the tub. You go get in the tub, man. You don't even take a shower. You take a bath. You understand? But you don't even let out the water. I go right behind you and get in that same water you just left dirty. Like nobody's going to do that. You don't fix issues by compounding the issues. And therefore, you don't fix somebody who's not appreciative of you by continuing to do things hoping they'll appreciate it. You cut them loose, because that's a sign from God. When somebody doesn't appreciate you, that's a sign that they don't deserve you in their lives. And I want you to understand that. And I want you to have the wherewithal, and I want you to have the intestinal fortitude, and I want you to have the spiritual aptitude, and I want you to have the mental strength to walk away from those people when they don't appreciate you, because there are people out there who will appreciate you. There are people out there who will value you. There are people out there who will sing the praises of the Most High for even using you as a weapon, not a weapon, but as a vessel in their lives to give them the things that they need just to make it out, to make it through, to recognize the goodness of God themselves. Man, you got to understand, God did not put you here to suffer at the hands of people. He didn't put you here for that. He didn't put you here to be taken advantage of by people. He didn't put you here to be underappreciated by people. He didn't put you here to have people be inconsiderate of you. He didn't put you here for that. Not the God we serve. That's why you always got to put God first. You got to put God first so you can get the energy that you need, so you can get the guidance that you need, so you can have your third eye open, so you can hear and see clearly when God is instructing you to go right, left, to go forward, to go backward. You gotta know, you gotta have your eyes open, and you gotta be ready to go, man. Why would you not listen to God when God ain't never led you astray? Why would you not listen to God when God has always showed you the right way? Why would you not listen to God when God is the reason you here today? Why would you not listen to God when God is the reason you never went astray? Come on, man. Why would you not listen to God, man, about where you need to go, who you need to deal with, what you need to do? What's wrong with us? Let's do a quick recap of this show, man. Let's do a quick recap of this show. Title of the show: when God instructs you to leave them alone, you better obey or suffer dire consequences. The first thing is, you deserve better than their disrespect. You deserve better than their inconsideration. You deserve better than their lack of love. You deserve better than their negative energy. But it's up to you to believe how much worth you have, what your value is. Because if you don't push that envelope and you don't force that into somebody's life, then you got to remember, you deserve what you demand, but you also deserve what you accept. If you don't demand what you want, then you deserve the opposite. If you don't demand the best, you deserve the worst. If you don't demand respect, you deserve disrespect. If you don't demand consideration, you deserve inconsideration. If you don't demand fairness, you deserve unfairness. You got to go into the world strong and with power and let people know, this is what I will accept and that is what I will not accept. Number two, don't let anyone use you. Being a fool is not a substitute for being nice. You don't get to be a fool and say I was just being nice. No, you know the difference between being a fool and being nice. Being nice is just what you are. You're considerate. You're fair. You know, we call it nice, but we're talking about being considerate, being fair, being thoughtful. We're talking about all of those things. But if somebody takes advantage of that and you realize that they don't appreciate it, you continue to do it, now you're being a fool. Number three, be fair, considerate, and loving to yourself first. You got to start with self-love. You got to start with self-consideration. You got to start with self-fairness. You got to start with self-respect. If you can't give it to yourself first, don't worry about giving it to nobody else. You don't need to be around other people if you can't give it to yourself first. If you can't love yourself first, appreciate yourself first, respect yourself first, consider yourself first, be fair to yourself first. It's better to hate everyone in the world than to hold yourself in such low regard that you can't respect yourself, love yourself, be fair to yourself. Number four, no one will ever stop disrespecting you if you accept it the first time. You don't have to accept it 3 times, because if you accept it the first time and you stay around, it's going to happen the 3rd time and the 5th time and the 6th time. You must understand and you must remember that you have too much value to be disrespected. Most people will use you if given the opportunity and will not be apologetic because they know you should know better than to be used. Number 5, if they don't see your value, it's not your job to convince them of it. Man, listen, I'm not finna tell them about how valuable I am. I'm not finna say, well, listen, one thing you never do, even if you're in a relationship or whatever you're in, you never tell somebody, well, remember I did this, and I did this, and I did that, and I did that. You're only doing that because you know they don't appreciate you. You reminding them of those things that they already know is not going to make them appreciate you. You sound like a fool reminding them of things that they already know. They've reaped the benefit of those things. Believe me, no one forgets what you did for them. It just doesn't matter to them the way you think it should because you have done something for someone who's undeserving. That's what we have to remember. You are the reason that someone doesn't ultimately respect you and appreciate you because you have allowed them continue. It don't bother you if somebody don't appreciate you one time. It don't bother you one time. If they do it one time, you be like, okay, this ain't the person I need to be around. That'll never bother you. You know what bothers you? When they disrespect you one time, you stay. I'm gonna give them another chance. They do it the second time. Well, maybe they this. They do it the third time. Well, they were going through something. They do it the fourth time. Well, maybe it wasn't what it was. They do it the fifth time. You don't even pay attention to it no more. It's just a part of the interaction. That's your punishment. Your punishment when you allow someone to be unfair with you and disrespect you and do all of that is that the more you do it, the more normal it becomes. So you don't even see it as enough of a problem to get out of anymore. That's why you got to get out of it in the first place. The biggest fear you should have is being stuck in a situation where you have allowed disrespect and inconsideration and lack of appreciation to go on so long that is the normalcy in the situation you're in. And so you deal with it every day. That should be your greatest fear. Not everyone deserves your presence. So your greatest fear should be someone who has access to your presence who doesn't deserve it. And now you're so stuck you can't even push them out of it. They're in there. They're part of it. You can't let them go. You can't push them out because you aren't strong. Because when you had strength, you didn't use it. See, in the beginning of the first time, you got strength to bag out. But if you don't bag out, you're a little weaker next time. And then you're a little weaker the next time. You're a little weaker the next time. By the 10th time you accept disrespect, you don't even think it's disrespect anymore. You stuck. Number 6, if God is forgiving you, you must not allow people to hold you to your past. Let me tell you something. I don't even deal with people from my past. If I know that you have the propensity to bring up anything from my past, oh, man, you remembered it? Nope. Man, what happened, man? Nope. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Like, God has forgiven me for everything that I've done. He's given, and listen, man, I've moved on with my life now. I don't need you in my life if you're attached to that part of my life. Can't hold me to my past. And the thing is, if they can't forgive you, then you must forget them. We talk about forgive and forget. I'll tell you how that works. If they can't forgive you, you must forget them. That's forgive and forget for you right there. Number 7, being underappreciated is the greatest form of disrespect. And man, it is such a heavy burden. Like having people around you who don't appreciate you. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I've had it in my life, man. It is such a heavy burden, man. Like there's nothing heavier than feeling the feeling of being used because people don't appreciate what you do. You are being used. If you do things for people, look out for people, guide people, whatever you do in someone's life, if they don't appreciate you, you're being used. And the feeling of being used, boy, that's a tough feeling to you almost can't get through that, man. It's such a burden that it takes a while to get it off of you. So I implore you to just avoid it. The very moment you understand somebody doesn't appreciate you, you have to not do for that person. Whatever you were providing, whatever you were getting, whatever the benefit of you is in their life, it has to be cut off. It has to be. Or else you're going to carry that burden. I promise you, boy, being used is a burden you don't want on you. I promise you that. Everyone you benefit owes you at least appreciation and at most a debt of gratitude. At least appreciation, but most of them owe you a debt of gratitude. Do you know what debt of gratitude is? They're going to always be thankful for you. Man, let me tell you something, man. I wouldn't have been here, man. I thank this person right here, man. Man, I thank BOA, man. I thank King Ray Ray, man. Let me tell you something. I thank the Money Boys, man. Let me tell you, man. I thank Freddie B, man. I thank the young homie Markel, man. I thank them so much because without them, man, I wouldn't have been here. Without him, I wouldn't have been here. That one time when I was in dire straits, man, I wouldn't have been here. They owe you that. And if they can't give it to you, it's because they don't appreciate you. And you got to cut them off. You got to cut them off, man. You got to listen to God telling you to leave them alone. And do not go against his guidance. Don't go against his guidance, man. When he tell you to leave them alone, you got to leave them alone. You owe that to yourself. Stop believing you don't owe sanity, sanctity, peace of mind to yourself. You do. And being underappreciated will rob you of your peace. I'm telling you it will. I'm telling you it will. So continue to put God first. So you'll know if you should leave these people alone, because that way you know you're always connected to the spirit energy of the Most High. The Money Boys, appreciate the 3-bone super sticker, brother. Freddie B, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the dime. Gerald Hackle, man, appreciate you joining the family. Appreciate you joining the family. Tyler Jackson, also, appreciate you joining the family as well. So listen, brothers, I ain't gonna hold y'all in here too long, man. I really had to come in here and get this one off, man. We got a full string of shows coming up on the King Ray Ray, man. We about to go daily on the King Ray Ray, man. So y'all be looking for that. Honestly, man, this channel is my new passion, man. A lot of the passion that that I had for the main channel, man, is starting to just shift over to this channel. As you could tell, man, my upload scale just got kind of lax on the main channel, man. Because I mean, really, we'll see, man. But right now, my energy is over here in the kingdom. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. I really do. So y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, man. And I'll see y'all on the back end. And I'll try not to be so dark on the screen next time, man. Y'all put God first. See y'all tomorrow on the Kingdom of Ray. Peace.